That's for sure to me.
All right, here we go. Welcome everybody to our weekly show. We call it Tournament Horse Racing, and it's brought to you by Broke Guys Handicapping. I'll be your host tonight. My name is Rich Sharp, and here's how our little game works, or here's how our tournament works. We've taken the horse racing calendar and we've actually broken it up into four separate racing tournaments throughout the year. Each of those tournaments consists of 10 individual racing days. That's what you're watching tonight, is one of the individual racing days. We take four races from each of those individual racing days. Usually it's at one track, and we bet mythical win, $2 win and place bets on each of those four races. Our measurement is simply who wins the most amount of money. Whoever wins the most amount of money for that day wins that racing day. We actually put the tournament together. It's about 10 racing days, or approximately 10 racing days for one tournament. Whoever wins the most amount of money over those 10 racing days, well, that's our champion. We award a little trophy, we have a little ceremony for them, and then we move along to our next tournament. So what you're watching here is our summer tournament. We call it the Summer Stakes. This week we'll be at Saratoga Springs up there in New York. And before I just keep rambling on here, let me introduce you to the four horse players that'll be competing in tonight's tournament. I'm going to start just to my south. It is who I think of as our top handicapper on the show, Joe
Mm.
English. He is actually one of my oldest friends as well. How have you been, my friend? How's everything going down there in Temecula, California?
Good, Rich. Humid, rainy, weird weather, but otherwise, no, pretty normal.
Hey, speaking of humid and rainy and weird weather, let's swing all the way across the country to Staten Island, New York, where there is my other good friend, Ray Torado. Ray, how have you been doing this last week?
Doing good. Yeah, we got the summer weather here. Same thing, hazy, hot, humid, thunderstorms. So we're hanging in there. AC's blasting.
Nice, nice. All right,
Mm-mm.
we're going to finish up just to my north, and that is another good friend of mine. He is also one of the handicappers for tonight's show. His name's Steve Newsom. Steve, how have you been doing this last week? Steve has been having some internet issues tonight. As you see, he
Of
briefly
course.
froze there, so
Oh, he
we'll
just
see.
frozen, blacked
Yeah,
out.
we will see if Steve
I'm
wants to
sure
come
Steve's
back.
doing good.
Yeah, and share a little bit about himself and things like that. As a matter of fact, I did get some questions last week, so I will share with you all that the way that this show came together, if you're interested, is the four of us are all handicappers who enjoy the game. Steve is our most recent addition. I brought that up on previous shows, but the current format of tournament horse racing by Broke Guys Handicapping has been going on now since 2020. We started getting together during the pandemic on our Friday nights. Uh, we have been handicapping as a foursome all throughout 2021 and 2022 in the current format that we're in. There he is. Looks like Steve Newsom's back with us. Steve, how are you doing?
Oh, not bad. I'm just competing with this internet
No
today.
problem at all,
It's
my friend. It's
dropping
always
in
good.
and out all day, so
No, it's always good to see
getting
you.
into
It's always
work.
good to have you here. So I was just sharing with the audience just a little bit about how we came together as Broke Guys Handicapping, or how we invented tournament horse racing, which is our most recent rendition of this show. And I was bringing up the fact that you've been with us now since 2020. We started doing this during the pandemic. We actually competed as the tournament in 2021. Joe was actually our year-end champion. This is our second full year going on tournament horse racing and how we compete against each other. As far as Joe, Ray, and myself, well, I like to think that we've been handicapping since the Breeders' Cup in 2014 at Santa Anita Racetrack, which is when me and Ray and Joe, for the first time ever, actually went to a racetrack together. For those of you who are fans of the game, California Chrome was racing that day, so we shared belief. Bayern actually won the Breeders' Cup Classic. But Joe and Ray and I, our relationship as far as handicappers goes back to that day. And this show, which is called Broke Guys Handicapping at one point in time and has changed its name to Tournament Horse Racing, started in January of 2015. So we've been on the air for a little bit more than 7 years, kind of coming at you on a weekly basis. Again, we've added Steve as our most recent addition, and that's a little bit about the history of Broke Guys Handicapping. They're all my friends. They are all competent handicappers. We hang out and text each other all weekend long as we bet the races all the way across the country. All right. That's enough talking for me as far as the background of the show is concerned. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen with you, and that way I can show you what's going on here in our world. That's actually the racing form for this week. I will go ahead and bring up what happened last week, and that was the week of July the 20th. Excuse me.
Okay.
That was
Right.
that. I'm sorry. I did have
So
the
that
wrong
was a
one up
couple
there.
weeks ago.
Yeah, I actually took a peek at a couple of weeks ago. I'm looking at last week's race. We split them. So we started out at Saratoga Racetrack. The Jim Dandy would have been the highlight of that one, and then we switched over and went to Del Mar. And Del Mar, the highlight of that one probably would have been the Bing Crosby Stakes, as you see there. Put the check mark next to Joe English's name. Puts up a big number, 36.80 for the 4 races. Again, just betting mythical $2 win place wagers. I will tell you, as we all saw it on our text messages on Saturday, and if you watched our show last week, no, Joe did not have this horse in his initial picks. He called out Omaha in the middle of Saturday. He called an audible, and sure enough, American Theorem, I believe it was, brought him home just about $26 in winnings out of the 36.80. That gives Joe the win for the week. As you'll see here, that boosts Joe up into second place. As a matter of fact, for this week, gives him his second victory at the end of the season. For those of you who wonder, we actually use that as our tiebreaker. So again, we're just trying to figure out who's going to win the most money over these 10 tournaments. But in the event that we end up with a tie, and believe it or not, that has happened or nearly happened on a couple of occasions so far in these tournaments, we will go ahead and see who has won the most individual tournaments. I'm still in first, but Joe's there in second. Steve and Ray are not far behind. We've got a good tournament going on here for the Summer Stakes. And again, that was Del Mar and Saratoga. We're going to go ahead and switch over, and we're just going to go to Saratoga. This is the Whitney Stakes. That's not the correct order. So let me just make sure everybody's with us today. We took race number 7, which was a stakes race. We skipped race number 8, and then we went with race number 9, race number 10, and race number 11 here at Saratoga Racetrack. We are going to start off in race number 7. It's a little bit of the marathon. They're going 1.5 miles on the inner turf. It's the Glen Falls Stakes, Grade 2. Purse is $250,000. It's for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upward. And your morning line favorite, your overwhelming morning line favorite, actually is what I often dream about at night: A Warlike Goddess, trained by William Mott and ridden by Joel Rosario. She is 1-2 on the Saratoga morning line. And Joe, we're going to go ahead and start off with you tonight. You were the winner last week, so go ahead and kick us off, my friend.
All right, cool. And I mentioned to you guys before we started that there are no 1-2 card, no 1-2 shots on my card tonight. No 2 to 5 shots, so that gives you a hint as to what's coming up next. But
here we go.
I'm not going too deep. I'm going with the 2 Virginia Joy, trained by Chad Brown, ridden by Irad Ortiz. Not really a shocking combination that they're getting together. I just know that for her the distance is not really an issue. And she does have a tactical advantage. She should be in front of Warlike Goddess until probably at least the quarter pole when they turn for home. And she's eligible for a bounce back after that last race in the Grade 1 New York, losing to Bleecker Street, who actually had gone on to, that was her 7th in a row before she ended up losing in the Diana. But here's the main point that I want to stress, and it's not like we've never heard this before. Betting against Chad Brown female turf routers is bad for your bottom line. So I'm taking the Chad Brown female turf router. Give me the 2 Virginia Joy. If she's second choice, I'm guessing she's even going to go lower than 5-2. Maybe she'll end up somewhere in the 9-5 range because there are a couple of really long bombs in this race. So give me the 2 Virginia Joy. Not sure who I'm kicking it to, Rich.
I'm sorry, we're
You,
gonna.
Steve?
Yeah, you're heading east, so we're gonna go hand this off. We'll do the traditional
Okay.
one. We'll do the, as I sometimes say, the Sound of Music lineup. We'll go Joe, Ray, Steve.
Okay. Right on you.
Right. Yeah, there's a couple of very low price horses here. Well, right now where I'm sitting, I need some money, so I'm gonna go for number 1, Temple City Terror, Tyler Gaffleone. Um, no, the um, the distance shouldn't be any problem for this horse either. I noticed that she likes the firm turf, so hopefully the turf is firm. Couple of races that she's been on a good firm turf, she's run pretty well, and I'm hoping that she can save some ground and maybe get a piece of second, or hopefully she'll you know get big price to win. You have a 1-2 horse, you have a 2-1 horse, so those horses should be running well. But I'm gonna take a shot here, 12-1. Hopefully, get second or even first and get some money here. But I like this horse anyway for Brendan Walsh. So Temple State Turf me. Steve?
Yeah, I'm going with the favorite. We're like Goddess. Um, just looks to be the cream of the crop in this field, and I don't know. I don't think anybody's going to beat her. So, but yeah, horse is what you got 7 wins and 9 races on turf. 2-0 there at Saratoga. 3-0 in 3 races at the distance. Won a lot of races, so I expect the trend to continue.
And I honestly wish I could give you guys something trendy here. I know I'm in first place, and it might seem like maybe I'm doing a little bit of blocking. I tried. I honestly did try to beat this horse over and over again. Steve actually kind of summed it up there. 7 for 9 her lifetime. She's 2 for 2 at Saratoga and 3 for 3 at the distance. It's a Bill Mott horse ridden by Joel Rosario. Not necessarily a great combination that you're looking at there, but out of the horse's last, what is that, 5 or 6 races there, has finished out of the first place spot just that one time. That was at the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf, and finished third by a huge, disappointing half of a length. The horse is a half of a length from being 6 for 6. As you see there, if you look at the whole page, there's just 2 losses on the whole page, and that goes all the way back to her maiden special weight event. So I tried. I really did. I wanted to go outside my comfort zone here, and in the end, I just kept seeing Warlike Goddess. This is one of those ones where you find a exacted companion and you just go ahead and move along and hope that something can happen down the line. However, I will tell all of you, I was actually looking around my garage before I got on the air tonight. I was looking for my sons have it. It's a big box of chalk that you can just draw all those shapes on the sidewalk and then just washes away and things like that. Just to give you an idea is what we might be looking at tonight. All right, we are going to skip, as I told everybody, we're skipping race number 8, despite the fact that it's got a purse of $115,000. Believe it or not, that is actually chump change at Saratoga tomorrow, because race number 9 is going to start off. It is going 7 furlongs. They're on the main surface. This is the Longines Test Stakes. It's a grade 1. The purse is $500,000. It's for 3-year-olds only. And your morning line favorite, well, can't look very far. She's right there. Her name is Matarea, trained by Brad Cox and ridden by Flavian Tratt, owned by Godolphin. And she is 2-5 on the Saratoga morning line. And that's going to go ahead and set it up for Mr. Toronto. Ray, who do you like in the test?
And keep getting these horses here at these odds, man. It's gonna be a very small payout. Another one, 2-5. Wow, man.
For Ray and Joe, just briefly
Well,
as a little aside note, that this is probably like the 7th time you guys we have handicapped the test together. It's one of
the
those races
test,
that
yeah,
shows up. It shows up on every single
yeah.
calendar.
But not many 2-5s in that span over 7 years either.
No, this is
Good point.
yeah,
That's a good point.
yeah.
That's a good point.
Well, once again, for me, Saratoga, I always look to beat the favorites because it's I don't know, one of my things I like to do. But I was looking at the form, and it's a very contentious race. There's some good speed here, a lot of speed. So I don't think any horse here is going to be alone. It's going to be a good pace. I decided to go with number 4, Wish You Well. I was really impressed by that first race at Gulfstream. Um, she definitely looked like a stakes horse there. Winning the good fractions. I mean, the figure came out very well. And then what happened to Churchill? Well, I'll give it a pass. Some astray happened there. But based on our first race, I'm gonna, hopefully she'll get back to that form and run well. I mean, the workouts, I really like the workouts that she's been doing up there, 47 breezing and, a couple bullets there. So this horse looks like she could run. So I'm at 12-1. I think I may be getting my money's worth here. So I'm gonna take Wish You Well. Hopefully in her third race she can crack the grade 1 type. So let's see what happens. My turn is gonna be very tough. And but you know, it's horse racing. They gotta run the race. So I'll go Wish You Well with George Weaver and Gaffion. All right, Steve. Oh, Steve back down again. Okay. So
You know, and I wasn't paying attention. Did Steve disappear?
he went out. Yeah.
Kind of looks like that.
All right, we'll get back to him.
All right, yeah. Let me see if I can come in here to the rescue for a moment. In my, I think my non-chalk eating weasel race, I decided to stay away from Monterey, and I want you guys to know the horse is owned by Godolphin, bred by Godolphin, trained by Brad Cox and Flavian Pratt. I mean, for God's sakes, I literally it was like tearing at my own skin to not pick this horse. It seemed like I should have just been able to put a blindfold on and pick Monterey. I do believe she's the most likely winner and probably is going to win this race. But I'm not going in that direction. I'm going to go all the way out to horse number 6. I do like Hot Peppers, trained by Rudy Rod and ridden by Luis Saez. Has a lot of early speed. Actually came out of some sprint races down here at Gulfstream Park, where put up some really respectable fractions there in the early part of the race. Sorry for my overindulgent highlighting. The horse won 3 in a row down there at Gulfstream Park. Tried a state-based filly race down there at Tampa. Looks like it had some traffic in the chute. I did finally do one of those classic broke guys handicapping things, you guys. I actually just drew a line through this one. I thought, okay, well, that does not look indicative of what we see from Hot Peppers. Everything else, win, 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 win. All she does is win. And so I really did like this horse. I thought the early speed angle here in a sprint race at Saratoga might benefit her. She did win there at the Victory Ride at odds of 4.5 to 1. By a really good Florida sire, Kozan. You see that name all over the place down there. And again, I know Rudy Rod looks a little cold there. If I'm not mistaken, over 34 certainly doesn't make any of us real happy as far as he's concerned. But I know Joe and especially Ray will back me up on this one. This is an outstanding trainer who really knows how to get his horse into condition. And if you look at it down here, he's got his guy aboard. That's Luis Saez. They're 35% together. I went off the reservation. I decided to go with the 6. And am I handing it off to Steve?
Steve, well, Steve's back. Why don't we go to Steve since he's
Okay.
back?
Okay.
All right.
Well, I don't know. I'm a chalk eating weasel tonight. I'm on the favorite again.
I should have got you my bucket.
Yeah, for everything that you said, Rich.
Right. There's all kinds of pastels and blues and you love it.
Yeah. Last, one's left by most of it by quite a bit, So
Again, if you've ever caught our show before, there's not a whole lot of times where, bred by Godolphin, owned by Godolphin, trained by Brad Cox, ridden by Flavian Pratt. I think Steve, you might actually have a perfect record in these situations with that, and I'm slugging like 1340 here. There's no doubt about it. All right, Joe, you're going to take us home with this one.
Yeah, sure. It's funny. I'm kind of surprised at you, Rich. I'm gonna borrow one of your angles if you don't mind.
Please.
Yes, Monterey is the horse to beat. I don't think anybody really would debate that. But I'm gonna take this. Like I said, this is Rich's angle. West Coast dirt speed heading east. I'm gonna take the 3. I'll go with Elm Drive coming out of the Great Lady M at Los Al. obviously,
red feather.
if you run in the grade 1 test, the grade, what happens in the grade 2 grade Lady M, yes, you want to win it, sure, but it's not that really that big a deal. And if you decide out of this to go east and run against Monterey in a grade 1, seems like the horse must be doing well. And she was a grade 2 winner at Del Mar last year, and she won the race from slightly off the pace. If you see the first call, she was a length and a half back in the 2-year-old stakes win. And this is her third start off a layoff. She was laid off from October to May of 2022, and then she returned again in the race at Los Al. So this will be her third start of the year. Phil D'Amato was the trainer out here. Obviously, Phil D'Amato is a very solid trainer. Michelle Nevin is a very solid trainer back east. The percentages, 12%. She obviously, yes, she doesn't have Phil D'Amato's turf barn, which is obviously why she doesn't win at 22% like he does. But I'll take Elm Drive. Like I said, I'll take the West Coast speed heading east. And like I said, she can win from off the pace. So it looks like between Hot Peppers and Monterey, there'll be enough speed to set something up for a closer if there's one that's good enough. So I'll take the shot with the 3 Elm Drive.
Appreciate the angle.
No worries, man. We all have to adapt as handicappers, and we have to learn. That's if you're not learning, why are you watching this show?
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, and so I think I got everybody's picks in there correctly. We are moving along to race number 10. This is the feature. Excuse me. This is the feature. And oh, what a feature. They're going 1 1/8 on the main surface. This is the Whitney Stakes, grade 1. Purse is $1 million for 4-year-olds and upward. And your morning line favorite is out there in post number 6. Life is very good. Life is Good, trained by Todd Pletcher and ridden by Irad Ortiz, is 6-5 on the Saratoga morning line. Steve, got first shot at the Whitney.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Hot Rod Charlie. The 2. Again with Flavian Pratt on board, we got Doug O'Neill, trainer. Horse has done really well over his career. A lot of first, seconds, thirds. Been in some big races. Seen this horse a lot, so I don't know. It's a really good field, but I don't know. I just got a feeling Hot Rod Charlie might have a shot here.
Well, there's no doubting his accomplishments. As you see there, you say he's been in some big races. As a matter of fact, not some big races. He's been
most of them.
All the big races since he turned 3 years old, right? And I love this horse because he's a California horse. That's where his pedigree started out in. Doug O'Neill, California trainer. Flavian Pratt at the time was a California jockey before he went off to go dominate. This race was a freaking killer. There's 3 horses in this race who, this is like watching Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier and Joe Foreman all fight in the same fight. They're Olympiad, Life is Good, and Hot Rod Charlie all bring pedigrees to this race that says, I'm not going to lose. So somebody's going to finish second in this race. And I don't think it's the favorite. I don't believe it's going to be Life is Good because I'm pretty sure he's going to wear the flowers after this one. This is by Todd Pletcher. Well, he's currently being trained by Todd Pletcher and he's ridden by Irad Ortiz. That combination speaks for itself. In the United States of America, this horse has lost exactly once, going all the way back to November of 2020. And I'm pretty sure if you could interview him, he'd be like, that was a fluke. And just to be clear, the horse that actually beat him in that race was named Jackie's Warrior, the sprint champion of America right now. So Life is Good is really good. My preference for California horses, Joe, you mentioned it earlier. California dirt horses going east. Now, of course, since he got transferred away from Bob Baffert into Todd Pletcher's barn, Life is Good is a bit of a continental sensation. He has gone across. He won the Pegasus World Cup Invitational last year, and he smoked the best older horse in the game at that point in time. That's Knicks Go, who finished second, and he didn't finish second to anybody other than Life is Good. The only other race that he lost besides that one was over there in Dubai. We all oftentimes go ahead and strike a line through that one. It wasn't like he ran a bad race. Country Grammar and Hot Rod Charlie came to get him. He did finish fourth and came back. And off of that, we often sit there and say we worry about the bounce. We worry about a horse coming back to the United States. And yet, as you see there, even in a 4-horse field where nobody wanted to race against him, he had no problems. I think he's got this field beat. I think Hot Rod Charlie and Olympiad, who's got 5 wins in a row, are sensational entries. But I'm going to go ahead and go with the favorite. I got the 6. Life is Good. Joe.
See, I will go where lots of people won't go. It's funny, Rich, because you mentioned 3 horses. I'm gonna mention the 4th one, and that's last week it was American Theorem. This week it's American Revolution.
Other Pletcher.
I think this is a fantastic race, and Hot Rod Charlie really kind of holds the key for me, because if he can pressure Life is Good at all to run a little bit faster than he wants to, there's a chance that Olympiad and American Revolution can run him down again. And again, I know American Revolution has to do a little bit more improving, and he got beat by Olympiad last time. But I think, like I said, it could be that the top 3, because Olympiad likes to run close to the pace, and I don't see Hot Rod Charlie really backing off. He might sit in the pocket and might say, "Okay, I'll sit behind Life is Good." I mean, Life is Good, as Rich said, is good enough to he Knicks go last year. He's good enough that he could just blow this field away on his best, and there's no question about that. I'm just hopeful that maybe something weird happens. Ray mentioned Saratoga as a place where things, weird upsets seem to happen. And not that this horse is a bad horse and he'd be a weird upset. He's got figures that are just on the buyer scale, just below the top figures for Olympiad and for Hot Rod Charlie and for Life is Good. So he's not that far away. He's getting the leading rider from the meet last year. He's got a grade 1 win already. He's got 2 turn wins already. And he's going to be the 4th choice, at minimum the 4th choice in this race. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. He's definitely going to be at least the 3rd choice. But the way the odds board says, he's going to be at least the fourth choice if Hot Rod Charlie takes money. So I'm getting really good price on a horse that's not so far away from these horses. He can do this on his best day. And don't underestimate the other Todd Pletchers. Happy Saver to me is a little bit behind American Revolution on the scale, but this guy can win this race. He's going to get a good setup. He's got the rail draw. I think he's got a real legitimate shot here, and I'll take it at 5-1. So American Revolution for me, right?
Yeah, you're right. This is a great race.
It's fantastic.
It is.
Best race of the year. Best race of the year so far, no question about it.
Short field, and everyone has their place in this race. That's what it is, really. Under normal circumstances, I would have been all over Life is Good. Speed, grade 1. I love speed. Going these races, come catch me if you can, whatever. But I've been looking at the track the last few weeks, and the track is tiring. It's very deep. I'm gonna go with Hot Rod Charlie, only because he got the prep after coming back. He ran pretty well. He's definitely seasoned. He'll probably be up close to the pace. Life is Good. The problem I have with Life is Good in this race, and only in this race. He's going from 7 furlongs to a mile and an eighth, and he's going to be on the engine the whole way. I just feel that, he may not want to go this far right now. he may not be ready for it. So I'm gonna take a chance that just these little things at the calendar, whatever, may not suit him. It's just too good of a race to take a horse like that, and under these conditions. We got other seasoned horses who've been the distances. I know he's gone a distance before, but this year he ran early, went to Dubai, come back on a sprint. I don't feel he's ready enough right now to handle 9 furlongs. If he is, then he'll win by 5. You know, but I'm gonna go with the Howard Charlie, who really had his prep in the Salvatore Mile. Just comeback race, got his feet wet. Back in the States, and he deserves to be there. And Olympia too. Olympia is a great horse too, if the pace is there. So it's gonna be whoever the pace is gonna decide the race and a jockey's race. So let's see what happens. But we all have to take our chances.
Yeah, it's funny. This is as good as a Breeders' Cup. I mean,
This
if these 3 or 4 horses line up and we run against Flightline going a mile and a quarter at Keeneland, I don't know that anybody could really be upset.
No, no.
If it was a 5-horse field and
And
those were the 5,
yeah,
who's gonna argue?
I would suggest
and
to you, outside of the Breeders' Cup, this may be as good a race as we've seen in all the years we've been handicapping again.
It's
Three
damn
like this.
close.
Yeah,
It's
three like
damn
this.
close.
Yeah.
It is very close. It's a tough. I mean, I love it. This is I will be. And just so that everybody's aware, it's on NBC tomorrow. You should be able to watch it on NBC. I think.
Regular NBC.
I believe it's on regular NBC. Yes.
Perfect.
no, maybe they'll get the tractor out and harden the track a little bit. You never know.
Man, they'll have drones or whatever, but
They might they
my
might
understanding is
harden
that
the track a little bit for this one. So,
it is on it is on
but
NBC tomorrow, to the best of my knowledge. And if it's not, I will put something in the comment section and I will tweet it out.
because last week 112 was kind of fast for 6 furlongs for early voting. You thought it was slow.
Yeah.
That 112 turned out to be a very
Yeah.
fast pace. So
Oh, yeah. Let's
so
add
that's
it
why
to the Breeders' Cup Mile, the
Yeah.
Breeders' Cup Classic too.
Oh yeah.
Add him.
All right, here we go. Let's get it on and share my screen here for you. Final race of our pick 4 for tonight's tournament. This is a mile and 3/16 on the May surface. This is the Saratoga, on the turf. This is the Saratoga Derby Invitational. It's sponsored by Caesars. Grade 1, purse is $1 million. And your morning line favorite is out there in, yeah, you got it, post number 6. That is Annapolis, trained by Todd Pletcher and ridden by Irad Ortiz, is 5-2 on the Saratoga morning line. And if I'm not mistaken, if I look back over here at my my card so far and things like that, I've got heavy metal working for me, and I've got 666, and the favorite in this race is the 6. And I swear to God, it almost happened. In the end, I decided to go with the horse. I have a feeling Nation's Pride may, in fact, end up going off as the favorite. I bet this horse the last time. So this is one of those cases where I'm trying to get back from an earlier defeat. This is Charlie Appleby's horse, ridden by William Buick. I do believe that the reason the horse could go off as the favorite was he went off as the favorite in the last race. That's what that little asterisk down there in the racing form means in the odds section is. Even though I picked him at 4-1 or 5-1 on the morning line, he ended up going off at 5-2. And in this case, he's 7-2. I would expect he'll probably go off closer to 5-2 again. Ran a really nice race in the Belmont Derby, which is a grade 1 back there on July 9th. That was also covered on this show. Got beaten by Classic Causeway, who I believe was 25-1 or something like that day. I mean, just huge balloons blowing up there at Belmont. And I thought if this race was probably another 50 yards longer, Nation's Pride probably catches him. owned by Godolphin, bred by Godolphin. You heard a little bit earlier today. I kind of have a preference for those kind of horses. The grandsire in this case is Galileo, absolutely suited for turf, and had won 4 in a row on the turf over there before lost. Just coming over the United States, and then again finishes second just by 3/4 of a length in a 12-horse field there at Belmont. So I decided to go back to my instincts and pick the Godolphin horse. I've got the 4 here in the Saratoga, although I do believe this is going to be the favorite. I'm going to hand it off to Joe.
Okay, thanks, Rich. Yeah, Nation's Pride is probably the best of the horses that's coming out of the Belmont Derby, but it's funny because the way the race shaped out, it seemed like everybody was chasing Classic Causeway, and nobody could make that late gain, but they were like 5 across for second. I'm just not sure what to do with the race. I don't necessarily like anybody in a big way that came out of that race, so I'm going with the 3, Emmanuel. He's working well. Obviously, 2 bullets over the turf at Saratoga. He was supposed to run last time, but I think it was a clerical error that caused them to not run the horse. I think he shows a lot of 1s on his card, and he shows he likes to be in front. But the race he ran last time was such a slow pace, and the rails were, I don't know how many feet out, maybe 30 feet. I mean, I don't know that he could help but run 51 and 3. But I think he's going to be able to sit off the paces. I think Classic Causeway's going, and Royal Patronage is another horse who likes to be near the lead, and it was the same kind of scenario in the Belmont Derby. So I think he's going to be able to sit right behind these two, the 2 leaders. Pratt gets aboard, another new rider, but Pratt's a good pace judge, and like I said, I think this target since the match. And I think he was supposed to run in the Belmont Derby, and it may turn out to be a benefit because he's had a little bit more rest where the other horses had to go through the Belmont Derby. The distance is a question, of course. He has never gone this far, but he did win in a 1 1/8 last time out. So I'm taking a little bit of the price, and basically I'm taking a stand against the Belmont Derby. So give me the 3, Emmanuel, at 8-1 for Pletcher and Pratt at Saratoga. Ramon.
Yeah, I think you're right. The Classic Corey found a new home in the turf. He's just shocked everybody.
Maybe.
And he ran a hell of a race too. Now, can he duplicate it? Well, we'll see. He's gonna have more company now. Um, I went with the 10, a horse that came in 3rd in the Belmont Derby. Stone Age, right behind Nation's Pride, so getting a little better price. I think he'll switches to John Velasquez and Aidan Bryan, and he closed into that pace. They came home pretty fast. Just Classic Color got away with some slow fractions, and he still closed about 3 lengths late in the race. So it says he was 6 wide, so make hopefully get a little better saving ground this time. And so he was actually 5-2, so he got some money. So he should get some money tomorrow too. But I think it's just a little shorter race, but he should be able to work out a trip anyway. It's funny how they have Belmont Derby Invitational now Saratoga Derby Invitational.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
They're adding the Invitational to the name, right? This called. I guess they want to confuse it.
I think it was supposed to be some kind of series.
A series, right? Yeah, I know.
I think it was, but I mean, I don't know where I thought it was supposed to be 3, but I don't know where the
Maybe the
third
third
one's
one,
supposed
yeah.
to come.
Yeah. But it's interesting how they're doing these races now. Only for 3-year-olds, turf, I guess summer turf, something like that. But anyways, it's a good race, and I go with Stone Age with John Velasquez, Johnny V.
All right, Mr. Newsom, take us home.